Hello and welcome back to episode 17 of Dead Space 2. I'm Vic and you're watching yet another Let's Play channel. And I don't think that this is going to be a very watchable episode. Because I'm going to have a really hard time talking over this. Okay, so got some success that round by going straight for Nicole. But I'm still just gonna keep getting dogpiled. And that's another death. So I'm thinking that maybe saving over that poor performance might not have been my best move. Because we're going into this fight with no health packs now. Come on, Isaac, why are you not moving? Stuck on something again. Who are we, Nicole? That's the plan. That was different. Did we do it? Maybe we did it. And we didn't shoot ourselves with a javelin gun that we don't own. Marker's broken. All right. Good work, Isaac. You've undone the marker. And he's sitting here thinking that his job is done and he can just have a little relax while he waits to explode. And they're even going to play the credits for us to make us think that that's really what's happening.
Bastard! Was this your great plan? Dump me off and die? Yeah, well, here's another one. I'm crashing through the roof to get you. Now move your ass.
Wait, no, Ellie, it's too late. Stay clear of the station.
Yeah, well, you don't really have a say this time. Heads up.
I mean, that's really a minor concern in comparison to the reactor business. We're in control again. Okay. What are we controlling, though? What's the wind condition here? All right. Take my hand. And we end Dead Space 2 just like we ended Dead Space 1. In a seat. On a ship. But this time we brought somebody with us. And...
What?
Nice. So there we go, Dead Space 2. Good episode, right? Visceral Games Redwood Shore. That's not the same thing as Command & Conquer. So, there is a Dead Space 3 and I've already got it installed and we're going to play it. I have never finished Dead Space 3 for reasons that we might get into. Do I feel like talking over all of these credits? Can I bear to upload a 7-minute episode? I guess I probably shouldn't. It's interesting because I shot off my mouth about the stuff that I was expecting, being the needle in the eye. For some reason I had it in my head that there was more to it than that, and that it was something that Isaac sort of worked his way through over the course of much of the game. That clearly wasn't the case, so that's interesting. It meant that, for me at least, the end came on somewhat more suddenly than I expected. Having said that, this is episode 17. So I think Dead Space 2 was slightly longer than Dead Space 1, but it feels a lot longer. And I can't really say why that is, even though I've just played both of them basically back to back. I mean, Isaac's journey through Dead Space 2 covers the sprawl and also pieces of the Ishimura. So maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's just that the space feels bigger. But that doesn't really make any sense because, I mean, it's a linear game, right? There are no choices to make. There are no significant course deviations to make. You just follow the blue line all the way to victory. And in a few cases, you can ignore the blue line and pick up some goodies. But it's like, you know, you go off on a little cul-de-sac and then you're back on the rails. One of the things that I really appreciate about Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 2 is, despite what I just described, it doesn't feel super like you're on rails. Like, it feels like you are working your way through an environment, and the course that you take is dictated by the events rather than by artificial restrictions. And I mean, taking a step back, right? What's the difference? You're in a totally controlled environment that was created by people who had a plan, and they planned for you to go that course all along. So the events are the artificial restrictions. But it's not like you spend a bunch of time bumping into invisible walls. So I don't know. It's I'm sure somebody who spent more time on theory of game design could tell me that there's some name for that concept. But I feel like it's well done in these two. We've got to see a little bit of character growth on Isaac's part. He started out this very silent, but very upset, helpless guy Well, not helpless. But, you know, a victim of his circumstances in Dead Space, and then here in Dead Space 2, he was a little more seasoned, a little more deliberate, and of course we heard him speak and we saw his face, and apparently along the way we've worked through some of our issues with Nicole, although it'd be interesting to see what the knock-on effects are of, you know, making that very brief peace with the apparition of Nicole and then almost immediately having her stab us in the back. Not that anybody should have been surprised. I don't even know how much of Dead Space 3 I've played. I don't think it was a whole lot. Dead Space 3, if you look at the reviews, I'm pretty sure you'll find that it is the worst reviewed of the three, and that one of the common complaints that people made was that there were microtransactions. And I'm sure that that's something that put me off, because I do not pay for microtransactions. I'll buy DLC. I'll even buy 0-day DLC if it's good or if it's cheap. But, you know, stuff like you find in mobile games where it's like, pay us some money or some pay for with real money in-game currency to run this timer down to 0 when there didn't have to be a timer in the first place. I don't do that crap. And I don't remember what the nature of the microtransactions were in Dead Space 3. What do I remember? You know what? I'm not going to tell you what I remember, because we're going to play it real soon. So we will remember it. And that's better anyway, because I've just demonstrated that my memory of games that I played 10 years ago is not great. And why should memory of games that I played 8 years ago be any better? It won't. I've lived a lot of life in the last 8 years. Things are very different for me now. I didn't own a house then. I didn't live alone then. I wonder what people who are more knowledgeable about mental health than I have to say about Isaac's personal trauma and how he's evolved with it over the course of these games. Is this like a good treatment of trauma? Is this a very bad treatment of trauma? Does it make sense? Is it just tasteless? Does it matter? Because we're not talking about a real situation here. To the best of my knowledge, no real person has ever actually been subjected to visions of a dead loved one that were created by an alien artifact that was trying to control them, and then had to confront that fact and then destroy the artifact. So the thing we have to ask ourselves is, why is there a Dead Space 3? We destroyed the marker on Aegis 7. We built and then subsequently destroyed a marker here. Is there going to be another marker? And who made it? And how did they find out about it? Somebody in the last few episodes mentioned the black marker, which is apparently the original marker. So I guess that one's still out there somewhere. So we can reasonably expect that it'll make an appearance. Especially since there was no Dead Space 4, I think we can look forward to a conclusion of the story in Dead Space 3. And I really hope that this music isn't copyrighted, because I super hate editing the audio out when I make these episodes. But I'm not gonna let some company make a claim against these videos. The thing that I think is really silly about the copyright system on YouTube is they'll say, some copyright holder will say, oh, well, you used my copyrighted material in this work that you made, so I should be allowed to make money off it, which in and of itself is fine. I mean, you own a copyrighted work and you deserve to make money off of it. But what winds up happening is they take the full monetization of that video, which means they take all of the money that gets made by it. Now, I'm a tiny channel. I don't have very many subscribers and I don't get very many views. I'm not making money. So they're not taking money out of my pocket when they do that. But what they are doing is they're saying that the value of the work that I do in creating the video in question is nil. And again, in my case, you could argue that that value is in fact nil because I'm not monetized. But it's not like my channel is any different than, say, PewDiePie's. The system works the same for everyone. And that is unfair. And if the system was different, I would interact with it differently. But as it stands now, if Google says, hey, somebody else can make a claim against this video, I'm going to modify the video so that that claim can't be made. And I don't think there's anybody that can argue that that's an unreasonable thing for me to do, or anyone else. What are we looking at? Special thanks? These are weirdly unpolished. It looks like what you would see in like a Patreon's special thanks. There we go. Oh, Dead Space 2 is using the Havoc engine. Blah, blah, blah. Copyright notice. Speaking of copyright. Do we get an after the credits video? Maybe?
This is Flight Team EG9 to Control. We have completed the flyby. There's nothing left. I repeat, Titan Station has been completely destroyed.
And the marker?
Negative. Nothing survived this, sir. Marker Site 12 is a total loss.
Pity. Recall all flights and return to base. The other sites will have to pick up the pieces.
Alright, well, so that answers some of the questions I was asking. You must save your progress. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Elite suit and security suit. Neato. Hardcore mode. I will pass. New Game Plus. Okay, so that's it for Dead Space 2. I'm probably going to do a New Game Plus in my own time because I like New Game Plus modes, and I certainly enjoyed Dead Space 2, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we are going to move on to Dead Space 3, and in fact, I am going to wrap up this episode, and then I'm going to record Dead Space 3 Episode 1 right now. And I have nothing more to say on this matter, so that's the end of Episode 17. Come back and see me again next time for Episode 1 of Dead Space 3. And you can bet that there's going to be at least some dismemberment, and there's probably going to be some insanity too. Talk to you soon.